All right, hello everybody. Here's a quick lesson video on Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla. So this is to be used in conjunction with the tabs. So I won't be, telling you where all these frets are because that's the tabs job. I'm just going to be giving you some notes on how to go about doing this. Okay. So if you don't have the tabs, you should have gotten that in class. If you don't have it, email me and then I'll send you a PDF. Okay. All right. So this is a power chord piece, much in the vein of Black Sabbath or Scorpions or Guns N' Roses. But this is a little bit harder than Black Sabbath because it's a little bit faster and we're changing strings a little bit more, okay? So I'm just going to play it for you a couple times here. 2, 3, 4. All right. So as with all power chord pieces, one of the things that you want to do first is get it down with a single note first instead of the double note power chord. So we're going to do that with the lower note here, and we'll use our first finger for everything since you'll have to use your first finger for everything when you do the power chords. So this will help that practice actually be useful. So it's going to be becomes easy for you, then you can add on the other note. Now when we add on the other note here, we make this shape. We use our first and third finger. Now one of the things that is the most important is that you don't allow your fingers to move in relation to each other. You almost want to have sort of a frozen hand shape. And that's going to really help you from having to keep on repositioning your fingers once you get to the position for the power chord. Sort of pretend like you have a freeze gun and freeze that left hand. See how it just kind of stays the same? So that's what you want to do. That's the idea, okay? Now, as for the right hand, whenever people hear power chord, they think of a chord. So they think of kind of a big strum like you might do for an E minor chord or a G chord. But power chords really should be thought of as a single note riff with another note added to them to increase the thickness of it. So your right hand should behave accordingly. So instead of a big old strum, you want to have more of a controlled two-note hit here. So you want to make sure that you only hit the notes that you are fretting and not adding in any extra notes, okay? Let's see. All right, so that's pretty much it for that first riff there. I'm just going to play it a few times so that you guys can play along with me and get a feel for the rhythm. One final note on that, this is a looped riff. So one thing that you shouldn't overlook in your practice is the movement from the end of the riff back to the beginning. Here it's particularly difficult or tricky because you're going all the way up here to all the way down there, all the way from the 7th fret to the 2nd fret very quickly. All right, so that'll probably take a little bit of practice on its own in the beginning. And one thing I want to caution everybody against is when you're going from here to here, it's a very long way, but you still have to make sure that you end up right behind the fret, okay? So be careful. A lot of people, when they have this big motion, they end up going back too far and they get this really buzzy sounding power chord. So keep an ear out for that buzz, and that's going to be a signal to you that there's something wrong. You need to make sure that you are right behind the fret, all right? As for the next riff, it's actually quite a bit easier. So right here, we're going to start off with our open power chord based on the E note, okay? It doesn't look as much like a power chord because we don't have that same hand position because we have that low E string just ringing open, but it is still a power chord. And this one's very easy. We're just going to go strum, 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 and then take our fingers off. And we're going to strum those lower 3 strings. So we have... same thing, but it's going to be 2 frets up, okay? So now we're going to go. Now for this one, we actually have to bar the lower 3 strings. So you have to push down pretty hard with that first finger. Go, go, Godzilla, yeah. Oh no, they say he's got to go. Go, go, Godzilla. All right, that's a lot easier than the first verse. So practice those both this week, and we'll take a look at it next week, see how you're doing. All right, I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you all next time.